time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Woo! Dragon angry. That was the hardest window slam I've ever heard, bro. Oh, that must mean it's time for your show here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. I am your host, Gary. Hope you're having a great little hump day as we make it through yet another work day. If you have a real job, you're almost there. If you're like me and you have no job, it's just 4 o'clock. But we do get to check in with friends a lot. Hopefully, if our Zooming capabilities work. But before we go to that, I just want to hit up the Maggie Cam very quickly here, Dragon. Because we've added to the set here. Look at that! The Maggie Cam for our best friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street. Your pet's natural grocer. Right now, what you're seeing is a majestic beast resting in her natural habitat. Thanks to our friends at Pet Planet on 8th Street, Mike and Rochelle, the whole gang over there. Absolutely amazing. As you can see, we have a plant. And that plant has been inside for a while. That plant went like 9 months without watering it because I thought it was dead back when I lived at 4th Street. So all the love out to that new plant who we may or may not be naming a little bit later. And all the love to Margaret. Look at her. God, she's just so beautiful, hey? Well done. All right. It is becoming a Wednesday tradition, I believe, dare I say, when we get to check in with my man on the Zoom. I'm hoping it works. Dragon was cursing a lot from in there, so we will see. But we're going to go now all the way to beautiful Australia, where it's 8 in the morning, and we're not going? Oh, maybe we're not going yet. What do you want me to do, Dragon? You can talk in my ears. It's all good. There he is. Oh, okay. All right. I believe you heard that too. Before we go zooming all the way to Australia as we work out some kinks here, we're going to go to the man beside me right now. His name is Uncle Brando!
Hello.
Oh, I love when you come by here. You know him from the CCO podcast as well as the BBO on the CCO YTC.
You got it.
Man, I practiced that in the mirror about 2,000 times.
Oh,
Totally worth it. Best payoff in the history of man.
it's fun to say.
It really
I encourage people
really
to try it at home. It's fun to say.
Did you or did you not do a new BBO?
I certainly did. New gimmick did not get to come into play, spoiler, for all the new watchers, because my box was very, very bad, but it'll be out on the Commander Cookout YouTube channel on Friday.
Very excited. If you don't know what a BBO is, that's Brando's box opening, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
We've mentioned it a lot around here.
For the people who watch it.
Yes.
Or not for me necessarily, because essentially
just
what I have done is taken funds that I had worked for and accrued over time.
Monies, yeah.
Money, as we call it.
Yeah.
And I could have paid down debt with it. I could buy items that I need for my home. Or I could basically gamble it away and flush it down the toilet.
Now that's what a man does.
That's right. And I do that so that people don't have to. Like I take the hit so that everybody else out there can just not do it and save their monies. Especially now, because the new Magic set, for people who don't know, very expensive. Very expensive.
Like everything else in life.
That's right.
So if you don't know what a box opening is, I've recently learned about it because of Brando's box opening. I became a fan of this thing. All the kids on the internets were like, hey, let's record ourselves opening boxes. It's exactly what it sounds like. Yep. And you just open a box of whatever it is, and then you show people, hey, look what I got in my box. Brando, though, old Uncle Brando does it a little differently, as he likes to use household items as weapons to open it. I was hoping we were going to get to... what did we say? The trimmer, the garden trimmer,
The weed whacker.
the weed whacker. Did we weed whack it yet?
Not yet. I have to find an electric one because I feel like a gas powered one might cut through the
Go right through
the
everything.
flimsy cardboard packaging. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out a way where I cannot cut the cards in half on the off chance that something of value is inside the box.
We all know there never is, and that's the beauty of it.
That's true. Like I'm worrying about it as if it's going to be
Yeah.
good, and then it's terrible.
So the BBO, CCO, YTC, with my man over here, Uncle Brandon.
That's me. Yes.
That's very fun.
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
Okay, so
Does this mean am I going to get to go to Australia with you, Gary?
I was hoping so. Because I have all these questions, but again, if the Zoomers don't work, then you're not having a good time.
What? I don't
That's
understand.
what I
you
heard
said.
once in like high school. It was like a mushroom joke. What people would say.
Oh, I
Remember those
understand.
guys who would like eat like 1,000 mushrooms? Like nothing works, man. These things are bunk. And then about an hour later, they're up in a tree screaming for God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So eventually it works, is what I've learned. So you just got to give it time.
You got to have patience, much like with everything in life.
Yes.
Patience is key.
Patience is a virtue. Aquaman Limited. Love Aquaman. Just want to give them another shout out. Look, they have the coolest clothing. Look at this thing. We're going to give this away soon. That's a huge ass bunny hug with a lovely logo, great coloring, as our friends at Aquaman out in Lloydminster.
When you say give it away, like to me, like can I have it? Can I win?
Well, you're a part of this. This is your family. This is your home. So I don't know if it's like good if you win stuff.
Yeah.
Although you did win a tummy ache after you noticed that all natural packet peanuts.
Man, I learned the difference between should be eaten and edible. I didn't realize that there was.
Let's talk about this for a second, because I think everyone wants to know. I spilled the beans yesterday. I said, listen, Uncle Brando ate the packing peanuts because Uncle Mike told us during our first box opening. It's so fun, box opening. I got to use a wool knife. What's that called? Rock wool knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we rolled it open, and it was great. And we opened it up, and there's all sorts of amazing things for you to pick up from Uncle Mike's All Natural. And in there we had the gardening pack, which had the bug spray, all natural bug spray, had the pumice rubbers to get all the rough skin off your hands. It was a great opening. By the way, you can head to unclemikesnatural.com, and when you're there, use the promo code DAM20 and get 20% off your purchase. And it's not just because Uncle Mike's one of the greatest human beings that we've ever met in our lives. He's just such a good dude, and I've known him my whole life. He's a brother for life. So we love supporting him already, but these are the type of people that we bring aboard, are people that we can get 1,000% behind. So when we say it's like all natural, it's all natural. There's nothing else in there. Getting back to the box opening, he has these all natural packing peanuts in there. And we had this big ongoing joke throughout the box opening that we get some Doritos dust, put it on the packing peanuts, and then feed him to Uncle Brando. Like, he won't even know the difference. But then Uncle Brando rolls in, being the manly man that he is. Like, you're basically William Regal, dude. He's a man. That should be your walk-up music.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. So he comes in and he just starts going. So now that the table has been set, brother, tell us how the packing peanut experience went.
Well, for starters, they weren't nearly as bad tasting as you would expect them to be.
Ooh.
They tasted or I guess not tasted like, but they had the consistency of like a popcorn twist.
Okay.
You put it on the mouth, chew them once,
I
they
used
kind
to
of
like
evaporate.
those ones where you could lick the ends and then build them together and they'd stick.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I
build
will
like a
never.
stick man?
I can't eat them anymore. I will never eat them again.
Something bad happened.
Oh, because of this exact experience.
This is what happened. Okay.
And they didn't really taste like anything at first, but once I got a dozen, 2 dozen in, they kind of started to taste like soap, which I'm assuming is it was packed in the box and thus flavored the packing peanut. But because I am not a quitter, I'm not a quitter, Gary.
Okay.
I persevered. I pushed through.
Hold on a second. Can we get to camera 2 here? Sorry, Dragon. Just there we go. Thank you. You keep doing you. You're doing great. I love you. Continue.
So I pushed through, and I'm eating these things, and I had a few. I had a number of them that was above
so
2
many.
or 3. Like I ate a lot of these packing
You know when
peanuts.
someone's like eyeing down a bag of candy for like a good 10 minutes and you see the eyes just sort of like, I see that candy. Ooh, I want that candy. He was eyeing down these packing peanuts, man.
Oh yeah, I was like, if they're edible, like that means they're probably something new and tasty, and they're not vegetables. So I'll definitely try them.
What a great lesson to learn.
Right? So we finished the show, and I've eaten all these packing peanuts, and I go out for supper with my girlfriend. And about halfway through dinner, I'm like, I feel like I've made a mistake.
Did you go out to a restaurant?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So you're in a restaurant after eating your packing peanuts. All natural, by the way.
All natural packing peanuts made mostly of cornstarch, seasoned with soap. And I'm sitting there waiting for my food, and I'm like, man, you know what I got to do is I need to take a break from all this excitement. Is what I got to do. So,
are you comfortable going to the bathroom in places that aren't your home?
I would not survive if I wasn't. I definitely am. Yes.
You run a close call all the time.
I run a tight ship.
Okay.
So to speak. So I'm swabbing the poop deck, and it was amazing, and took a while, but I felt okay. But like 3 or 4 times throughout the course of the hour and a half I'm at this restaurant, it just keeps, it won't stop. It will not stop. So by the end of the night, it's clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so just the worst. It was the worst stomachache I've ever had.
That
Like, I was
my
convinced.
next question. It wasn't just a nice push out. Like, you had a battle going.
Oh yeah, like it's like the packing peanuts went into my stomach and then reformed themselves back into packing peanuts. Just absorbed everything in my stomach, so all that came out was pain and burning. It was awful. And the last time was right before we're getting ready to go home. And I try not to be too detailed with the story.
So how many? Hold on a second. How many times did you go to the bathroom in the restaurant?
4.
4 different times. You had to. I had
4
no
separate
idea
times.
about this.
And as I'm leaving, I come out of the stall and I'm washing my hands, and this guy walks in, and he looks at me, gives me just the dirtiest look. Like he knew
what? He's never been to a bathroom before.
Because he knew what I did. He knew.
Yeah, but what? That's not where the dirty look.
Well,
If that was me and I walked in, I'd be like, bro,
dude,
nice.
no, I don't think you would have. I think you would have been like him and gave me a dirty look and walked back out of that bathroom, my guy.
I get you. So it
was
wasn't a
bad.
dirty look as in you just did something horribly disgusting and I feel great shame for you. It was dirty look as in he walks in and he felt.
Yeah, like
He absorbed the grossness.
Like
Okay.
I needed to do something in here and now I can't because of you. So the moral of the story is,
Hold on. The story isn't done yet. So you walk out after this guy shames you for the 4th visit.
it's my 4th visit. I walk out and we finish our food. I'm like, okay, I can't be staying out too late. I think we should probably go home. So we go home and things are actually okay as long as I don't try and eat food or drink anything, because it's just going through me pretty bad. And I wake up the next morning, and because I haven't like hydrated myself, I assume, the reformed packing peanuts have formed this ball that feels like it's wringing my guts out. And it was waiting for me to wake up. And as soon as I opened my eyes, it was like, oh God, oh boy.
I feel that.
So I finished that off. And actually that one was like the elixir, the ambrosia. Because after that one, I was like, man, I feel pretty good. I'm pretty sure I must have, we'll say sweat off like 5-6 pounds. Right? I had abs after it. It was awesome.
So if you're looking for an at-home workout, all you got to do is get some of Uncle Mike's all-natural packing peanuts, knock them down, and then watch the abs work. Maybe wear a pair of grampers while you're doing it.
Yes. Yeah. Don't go dry. No protection. Bad idea.
Okay.
I am a trained professional at this sort of thing, and I don't encourage you to try it at home unless you're trying to lose weight or become jacked. Because I assume, also I'm not a doctor. I should probably point that out too before I give weight loss advice. Hey, not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
But hey, it worked for me.
Okay. That story was fantastic.
Slim, trim.
We're gonna try to head on down to Australia now. We're gonna see if this Zoom works with our good friend AJ, my former coach, my main man, living in beautiful Melbourne, in New South Wales. As the Zoom screen is going to zoom in, here we go. Are we ready? There it is. I see him. Coach number 1 in the house. AJ, can you hear me, buddy?
You betcha, GM. How are you going this morning? Pretty tough to follow up that story.
When it comes to hilarious stories, Uncle Brando here, he never fails. He always brings it, and it's almost like he likes to put himself in those positions, which I appreciate.
I've lived an interesting life.
That's a great way of putting it. Okay, so Adrian, I just wanted to get that. So Coach Mazer, this is why we call you Coach number 1. It's because you're my original coach. Coach Mazer just sort of became coach over the years. Listen to how he wanted me to introduce you. Here we go. Author, motivational speaker, public figure, coach, liaison, mentor, creator, and all-around great and positive presence that we like to recognize here at the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, GM. I'm a little bit broke because I had to pay Maisie $25 to come up with that. We'll take it.
That's a pretty good going rate. Good for you. I pay him a lot more to write this stuff. And again, he writes those little things, then he does them more for me with other stuff. So you got a good deal. Let's see here.
You forgot to mention that he's also handsome and well-read. That wasn't on the list. I'm going to throw that in there.
You know about Coach 1 or Coach 2?
Coach 1, obviously.
Yeah, well,
Coach 2, that guy's...
Yeah, Coach 2 is just Coach 2.
Guy's like a shoe that's been turned inside out.
That's Very well said. So I told him I was just going to read right off of his list of stuff, which makes me very happy. So, question number one for you, Coach number one. I'd like to talk Riders and how much of a Rider fan you were. What is it like living in the shadow of a bigger draw like the NFL?
I think so. This is what I remember when growing up watching the Riders. This is what John Gregory was the coach, I think.
There you go. Yeah.
So we're talking like Ray Algard, Jeff Farrelholm, all those classics. Obviously, we won the Grey Cup. Well, I can remember as a kid, this was my routine. I used to deliver the Star Phoenix.
Nice.
Did they still deliver the Star Phoenix in the morning?
I don't know if we have any paper boys anymore running around, but I'm pretty sure. I do know the Star Phoenix exists online.
Okay. Well, so this I still have a jump on there once in a while, but obviously don't get it delivered. But you used to deliver papers by 7 in the morning, grab the sports section, fight with my brothers Shane and Steven for that.
Yeah.
And then right away flip to the sports and go through it. And obviously following the Riders was a massive thing. So growing up, they were a big part, whether we would listen to it on the radio. I can remember we'd drive to the farm out in Edam or Vaughan, or drive to where my mom was from in Meota out at Jackfish Lake, and be listening to the Riders on the radio as well. So there was a big part of the life. Now it's very tough. I think once Scott McHenry stopped playing, I kind of lost contact with him. You know, Scott used to play baseball with the Cardinals as well and was a pretty handy player growing up. But I think once Scotty finished up, that's probably when me following the Riders finished up as well.
Okay, so now, and that's sort of an ongoing theme that I've been having with Coach number two and Coach Mazer. Same way, man, the Star Phoenix, when you get that paper straight to the sports section, and that's how we all became the nerds that we are. To the point, actually, I remember at your old place on Cascade Street there, I'd be hanging out with your brother Steven, and we had one of those hockey simulator games that you guys had at your house that made me become even more of a sports nerd, where like you're not playing the game, you're just rostering guys and letting their attributes do their thing. And that was sort of the start of my nerdiness within sports. So shout out to your house on Cascade and your brother Steve and all that. But I feel like I am totally empty when it comes to passion for not just the Riders, but the CFL as a whole. And I'm looking to try to get back into it. I'm trying to find a way to motivate me to say, oh, man, I love the CFL. I can't wait to watch CFL games. Is there anything that this league can do to bring guys like me back, or is this just sort of the way it's going?
Oh, look, you know what, Jim? I find even here in Melbourne, there's lots of sports here. And it's kind of like the equivalent to the story of Scott McHenry. If you can somehow connect, how can you connect with the group? And, you know, remember the Riders used to do spring training camps. Was it spring training? I don't know. The preseason camps.
Yeah.
At where the field house was over at Griffith
they're still
Stadium.
doing it. Over, yeah, I'll call it the old Griffiths as well.
Yeah. And so we used to go there. And I think that was that connection because we were actually involved with it. And we would go and watch and experience and get autographs and, you know, sometimes jump in the car and drive to Regina. But so it's like, how can the league connect with us more often, or is it up to us as well to connect with the league? But they're up tough against the NFL. I mean, those guys are robots in terms of athleticism. These guys are just unbelievable. And it just seems that the CFL gets the third tier, fourth tier, but I just think it's something that I'm obviously not in Saskatchewan anymore, but it was definitely a part of growing up. And it's definitely, I've got a Rider shirt that I wear when I'm doing my talks. So I think it's something that as somebody who lives in Saskatchewan, you've got to embrace it. You've got to find a way to connect with it.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm struggling with, because I tell the story all the time. When you're at the lake, when you're walking around the campsites, everyone's got the game on the radio, everyone's got it on the TV. You can ask anybody. They know the score. They know what's going on. So why am I so disengaged? And I basically came up with the only reason I can think of is I have 5 fantasy football teams with the NFL. So I'm following those 5 teams full of guys, and all my time's going into that because I'm so invested in these fantasy football teams that I just have no time for the CFL, even though they're playing at different times. You know, it's just, it feels weird to me, and I want to get that back. And I think you're right that you have to make that connection. So you got to find like a favorite player or something that someone to really go all in with and cheer for and watch. And I'm still trying to do that. And I basically look at myself as like a rehabilitating Rider fan / CFL fan. So I'm hoping I can find that. And I think you're onto something with that. I got another one here from Coach. about what sport do you think produces the best athletes? He had a bunch of stuff here about the different, like you say, sports that go on around there, be it with the AFL and all that stuff that goes on. Do you think there's some good crossover from the it's not rugby, Aussie rules, I guess you call it, from any of those guys? Do you think they'd be good crossing over to different sports, or is everyone sort of stuck in their own place?
What we find with the Aussie rules football players is there's some that end up playing in the NFL,
Yeah.
but they come in they're punters.
Because that's what you do. Like half that game is punting, really, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there might be a debate whether the punter is actually an athlete compared to the rest of the players. That might be a little controversial statement there. But to go back to Coach Maisie's question around what sports make the best athletes, man, I think that's tough. It's kind of like who's the best writer, right? Is it a poet? Is it a nonfiction? Is it a fiction writer? That sort like they're all their own different genres, and it's like, was Wayne Gretzky a better athlete than Michael Jordan or LeBron or Tom Brady?
I see.
Or like water polo. I couldn't imagine like how strong your legs got to be. You got to be able to swim. You probably have to have upper body strength. Like that. So my initial reaction is probably like an NFL or CFL, let's say. Actually, let's take that back. Let's go CFL.
There you go.
And maybe NBA, because they got to be able to run, they got to be able to jump, they got to be able to move in and out. But then you watch here, we've got the Australian Open that happens here in Melbourne in January, and it's one of the biggest sporting events in the year here. And there are players playing out there for 4 to 5 hours in temperatures of 36, 37 degrees. So, you watch the women play there and you're like, man, these girls are beasts. Like they are athletes. So it's a tough question. I don't know. What do you think, Gary? What makes the best athlete? Which sport?
Well, see, I really think you nailed it when you talked about it depends on how you look at it, like the parameters of all of it, because like hand-eye coordination is something that's super important in a thing like baseball and hockey, but not like shot putting and running, right? So I think we'd have to build a graph, some sort of chart. I think Coach Mays could do that for us. It seems like something he would be all about. I will say this, though. When I was down there in beautiful Melbourne, we did take the train to Rod Laver Arena, and we got to see, it was like Davis Cup practice, which was cool. So we got to go right up to like the main, I guess, tennis court, if you will, but it's like a huge, huge venue. And just being in there watching, like you talk about the heat, that's another thing, is how do you deal with the elements? I think that would play into something like this, because we sat there for about a half hour and we were on the sunny side, and boy, oh boy, that's all we had. And we had to get out. It was too hot. And these guys are out there doing it all. And it's like, that's a damn good point too. I know the kids got to get to school here before we let you go. I do want to see where you're at with the Jays. As baseball guys, we love our baseball, but holy crap, we're getting closer every day to just being like, well, that's sort of that, isn't it?
I almost feel like that's where we've landed. Like we get so close to being mediocre, hitting 500. And I think they just lost again today or yesterday, the latest game.
Yeah.
I think they lost to the Brewers and they scored 3 in the top of the 9th to give us a chance. But they just, they bring Horwitz up. I think they had to let go of Biggio, as painful as that is. He was
my mind. What the hell? What's the reasoning there? What's the reasoning?
He wasn't performing, and I think there was this view that Biggio, Bichette, and Guerrero were the 3 that were going to bring us to glory. And yeah, I feel for Biggio because he doesn't quite have the same skill. So I think that's actually not a bad move, but I'll give us another month, and then it's like I'm almost at a loss, GM, because our pitching is awesome. Like
Again.
I think it was Bassett through today, through 5 innings, no runs. And it seems to be that consistent thing, but we cannot score. And it's
nothing.
So do we trade for somebody? But who do we have that's actually worth trading outside of Bichette and Guerrero? And I think if we ever trade one of them, then we've gone, right, we're going back to the days. We're going to take the Orioles model where we're just going to be terrible for 5 or 6 years, be bottom dwellers, and then build up the farm system and hopefully build up a team. What's the sentiment in Saskatoon? What's the feeling around the
Dude,
Jays, and what's next?
the feeling around, I can sum this up perfectly with my main man, Uncle Brando here. How are the Jays?
Who?
Exactly. People gave up on them months ago. Like, it's sad because, like you said it perfectly. They just keep pushing that goal line further and further. The goalposts keep going back. It's like, well, we're just waiting. Like, they're gonna click. And they've been doing it for like 3 years now. It's like, if you don't get it after 3 years, I don't think it's gonna click, boys. So I think the sentiment is it's time, tear it down and figure something out. Definitely fire Shapiro and all those other guys upstairs, because Atkins, like, get out of here, you guys. You ruined everything.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe where's Joey Votto? Like,
I've been
we gotta
waiting
at least
for
bring
that.
him in. He can't do any worse than the group is. Bring in a Canadian. Maybe get Andrew Albers. I'm sure is throwing some bullpens with the berries
In Saskatoon, he's showing the
coaches.
boys how to chuck, man. That's what I'm saying. So maybe they got him called up. Do something for fun, hey? Because apparently you're not going to be competitive anymore. So let's at least have some fun while we sink the ship.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm at a complete loss, just as frustrated as everybody back home, and I kind of feel like we've got to restart pretty soon.
Okay. His name is Adrian Ballard, my old coach, family friend, all the way from Australia. Also, again, he has written a book. He is an author. Where can people find your book, sir? And we're still waiting to put some up on the set here as well. So once they get here, we'll make sure we show them off proudly.
Yeah. Well, I have asked somebody to drop some off, so they will get to you soon, GM. But you can just visit teamsthatswear.com. And if anybody's ever getting their businesses together for an offsite or conference, hey, I'm looking for an excuse to get back home, and would love to help them out and get the troops and just rally the group up really well.
Maybe we will do a Dufferin Avenue Media Network conference, and you could be the guy to lead it. What about that?
Wow. You know what, Gary? I think there's something there to talk about. I mean, next time, maybe we can talk about teamwork and the experiences you've had, and the different jobs that you've done over your career.
I love that idea, and we will do it next Wednesday. This has sort of become our time, buddy. So welcome to the team. We are so happy to have you here on your show. And you say hi to the family. Take care of yourself down there, and we will talk to you next week, brother.
All right, man. Take care.
Woo! Coach number 1, the original, Coach Adrian Ballard, in the house, all the way from Australia. God, I love that guy. He's such a good dude. Brandon, how do you think you would do in Australia? We've talked about this before. How would you do with all the craziness that is the insects and the snakes and the reptiles and all that fun?
Given my ability/willingness to try virtually anything except for vegetation once, I think I would do okay.
Okay.
Like, I'm a little nervous about ever running into a spider that was so big, if I stepped on it,
Cover
it
your
would
face.
still stick out around my shoe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about that.
Those exist.
But I feel like I'd do okay, because I think most of those things probably are less common than I believe, which is to say that they drive taxis and work at stores. And since they don't, I'm sure that I could be okay, because it's mostly just like beaches and nice weather in Australia, other than
It's hot,
the
man.
killer
It is
vegetation,
really
right?
hot. Very, very hot. I told you. Like, it gets so hot that they shut the beach down. Like, we were staying at our flat in Coogee over there in Sydney, and it was so hot that you weren't allowed to go to the beach.
What do they like? Do they come and like get you? Do they have
No, it's-
monitors on the beach, or?
It's a recommendation.
Okay.
So when you look at the temperature, it says it's like 51, 52 degrees Celsius. Like, highly recommend you stay indoors during this heat wave. And then you'll get a couple of heroes who are like, oh, F that, I'm awesome. And then they go down to the beach and they can't even make it to the water because the sand is so hot. And then they run back to some shade.
They feel like shrimps on the Barbie.
Throw another one on there. I love it. We have an Australian correspondent for your
That's
show.
pretty cool, man.
How often does that happen?
Can I weigh in on the best sports thing? I was thinking about it. I was listening to you guys.
I was going to
talk.
go to you, but I wanted to make sure that AJ got his time to shine there.
Well, of
you know?
course.
So let's talk more about that.
I
Before, real quick, are we looking to get Maze on? Is he going to be showing up? Just leave a Zoom thing open in case Maze wants to join. I told him Brando and I might double Zoom him. Go ahead, Brando.
So you got to look at like what makes a good athlete, right? Strength, speed, endurance, like that kind of, I don't know, let's call it like accuracy, like the skill level of your sport. How high is it, right?
Yes.
How many points do you have and all those sorts of things?
Yes. I love how you make it into like a gaming situation.
So you got to find the sport where you have to be the strongest, the fastest, and all that other stuff I just said.
Yes.
Dist, right?
Lots of ist.
Blitzball.
Blitzball.
You got to breathe underwater while you're playing football, which is also rugby and sort of lacrosse. And all of it's done underwater with no air tanks. Blitzball.
But then you're going up and down.
And side to side.
Well, now we're just dancing.
You're doing all the stuff.
Okay.
Blitzball.
So, is there a goalie in blitzball?
Yes.
And what does the goalie do? Does the goalie get a tank if he's underwater all the time?
No. Everybody's underwater all the time for the whole game. Like you just got to hold your breath for the whole period. Or quarter, or whatever the hell they call them. Inning, set.
Okay.
And
this gets into something, and you want to talk about prepping.
Blitzball is a real game, right? That's a real sport.
It sounds real.
I mean, it
If
sounds
not,
like
I believe it is. You made me believe it, so it better be real.
yeah. Like I mean, I know all the rules and stuff. Like it's probably real then, right?
Well, if you invented it, I think we should get it started. Staying with topical stuff. Have you heard of Joey Jaws Chestnut?
Yes,
The world's greatest competitive eater? Dare I say one of the greatest athletes in the history of mankind?
I have heard of him. Yes.
Do you know that the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest going on July 4th, like the biggest event in the history of celebrations of Independence Day?
It's like the Super Bowl of competitive eating, right?
They literally have a hype man that walks out and talks about all of his establishments, all of his accomplishments as he's going. So like Joey Chestnut walks out, he's doing his walkout thing. They got music pumping. They got a guy in one of those funny hats, and he looks like really, really funny and proper. This is the defending, reigning champion, the killer of donuts, the annihilator of cakes, the crusher of nuggets, and just like talks about all of his feats like that. And they build him up to the point where you're watching, like, I'm going to run through a wall for this guy. Like, I love Jaws. That's how important this guy is. They're trying to have a contest now this year for the first time without him.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Is he
Wait for it.
Does he not want to go?
Oh, he wants to go. Do you know why they will not let him compete? And keep in mind, he's the only reason people watch. Like, no one's going to watch if there's no Jaws there.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Doping.
Not doping.
Illegal sports betting.
Not illegal sports betting, although you can bet on competitive eating, which is kind of funny.
Did he Tanya Harding somebody?
No, he
Like
did
he-
not Tanya Harding Kobayashi, his
He-
once big-time rival.
Pull somebody's molar out before the contest starts? Okay. What else could you possibly do to get yourself removed from competitive eating?
I'm so happy you asked, because that's the exact same question I was asking. He accepted an endorsement with a vegan hot dog company. So he is endorsing Impossible hot dogs. And because he has chosen to endorse these specific vegetarian hot dogs, they have said, you're no longer welcome here, buddy. This house that you built, this Nathan's only famous hot dog eating contest that you made famous, you're not welcome here, bro. Sorry.
What?
Can you believe that?
No, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Let's bring Coach in on this one. I want to get a professional opinion because obviously Brando and I, we ain't no professionals.
That doesn't make any sense at
That's
all.
what I said. Can you not have an endorsement with vegan hot dogs? Well, where are you?
Wow, he's at the
Where are you?
He's at the NBA Finals, baby. I know
dunk.
all my sports.
Slam dunk.
He's watching golf.
He is totally golfer. Are you in the golf course, bro?
I'm at Oracle.
Oracle.
Is that wait? Hey,
That sounds like something I've heard of before. What's Oracle?
probably darts.
San Francisco Giants Stadium.
Oh, that's what it is. McCovey Cove. Okay, I'm with you. That's pretty cool. Your thoughts on Nathan's famous hot dogs having a hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July without the only guy that people want to see eat hot dogs and then puke everywhere?
I think there are other people in that niche, but I think, yeah, Joey Chestnut's the record holder. But what's the deal? He got a sponsorship deal to not go on it?
No, he just got a sponsorship deal with vegetarian hot dogs. And then these jabronis over at the Nathan's Famous are like, oh, you can't do that. You're like punching the hot dog business in the face here, man. Like, you're not welcome here.
Was Nathan's sponsoring him before this?
No.
No.
That's the big thing is the event is sponsored by this incredible hot dog business. And it has no connection with Joey as far as I know.
Is
Looks like he's doing some
Takuro
research.
Kobayashi going to be there?
No, Kobayashi hasn't been there in years, not since he tried to compete off the side of the stage one year because he wasn't allowed into it, and he was doing his own thing, and Jaws still crushed him. Like, it was hilarious.
What's the story there?
With Kobayashi,
Yeah.
he's just not allowed. There was something going on. There's a lot of
Doping.
shady stuff. Brando wants to bring doping into this somehow with the competitive eating. I just don't know how doping would work with that.
Well, I mean, there's got to be
Eat
something.
dope.
Did you just get high before? That'd be the only
Yeah.
way I could eat competitively. I know I could do almost a nugget a second. I was going to chase the nugget record for a while, but then I was let go from my employee, and then had no reason to do it. I guess we could do it now.
Good call on not doing that, man. Like, that's
Chasing the nugget record? Are you kidding me?
That's asking for a. Didn't you hear the story that I told at the top of the show, Gary? That's just like eating packing peanuts, except they call it chicken. It's the same thing.
Hold on. We're not going to judge nuggets here. Coach, did you hear Brando's story before we got AJ on about the packing peanuts?
I was on the whole time. Yeah, I was watching the whole thing. I enjoyed that.
Give us your thoughts on Brando's packing peanuts adventure, this new weight loss endeavor he's going on.
Well, I was there, Gary, on Friday night. We hung out for a little bit, and I looked at the packing peanuts, and I felt them, and that's not what I thought he was eating. And then I was like, well, no one would eat these. These are just packing peanuts. I don't think it's a good plan, even like it's hilarious, but yeah, I don't think it's a smart move. Like I couldn't bring myself to eating them, even if you dusted them with some Cheetos dust, like you suggested. I couldn't do it. So I'm inspired, but not.
I was I was expecting a little more from you because I was trying to seduce you with the packing peanuts. Be like, well, Brando ate like frickin' 20 of these things.
Yeah,
yeah, he went off on them. So I thought you might join in, but apparently Brando's the man.
Like you were busy setting things up, Gary, so you didn't know. You left for a bit. I was staring at one of those peanuts for probably 3 minutes, debating on whether I was going to eat one or not. But yeah, I thought it was Brando's thing. You know, I didn't want to steal his thunder.
You didn't want to walk on his peanuts, if you will.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you leaving the gimmick to me, but my goodness. And for the record, I mean, smart choice. I feel like everybody made the right decision except me.
I wonder, though, fellas, if this is not one of those situations where it's like maybe one or two won't hurt you. You know? Maybe it's the fact he ate so many that they formed like a ball.
I think it was the volume.
Yeah, it was a volume thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also figure, I mean, maybe it was the soap.
Maybe he got cross-contaminated with soap.
There's definitely some soap on those things too. And I've never eaten a bar of soap before, and I don't intend to do it either, just so that everybody's clear. But maybe that's what did it.
I will say this. My brother, he used to swear a lot back in the day to the point where, you know, the old washout with soap.
Oh, man.
And then my brother got so good at the soap, he would just take a bite out of it, just dead eye.
That was Derek?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was the coolest thing. So then there would be a bar of soap with a bite taken out of it, sitting there right on the sink. It's like, man, you don't mess with that, dude.
Gary, did he ever go to the bathroom 4 times in one family dinner out?
No, definitely not. So that was like, and this is why we love Uncle Brando so much, because this dude does the stuff for us. He creates the content without even knowing he's doing it. That's just the life of Brando.
I'm just there to screw up so that you guys don't have to.
Yeah. Have you heard of Blitzball before?
I would pay. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I would pay to see current day Brando with 1996 Derek going head to head in some crazy challenges. That'd be unreal. If we could do that DeLorean style.
There would be a couple of like big time brawls in there. I'll tell you that. So have you heard of Blitzball before? I think our man Uncle Brando created a new sport. What do you think of that?
No, Blitzball exists. So Brando created underwater hockey, which is an actual Olympic sport. Have you guys watched underwater hockey?
I have seen it, yes. I knew you'd be able to bring some light onto the situation. Tell us all about it.
It's a weighted puck, and you swim to the bottom of a pool, and you play hockey. But there's no air tanks. You go up when you need air, and you go back down, and you play hockey, and you do little rushes. You've never watched it, Brando?
No. I probably should, though. That sounds like
it's pretty cool.
That sounds like the exact sport that I would like to watch.
Yeah, and Blitzball is a product. My kids have a Blitzball set.
So it's like a game?
It's a game, so it's modified baseball. So this is like how if baseball isn't for everybody, or maybe kids can't afford to play those sports, you just get them a little Blitzball set, and it's taken off. Like wiffle ball, there's wiffle ball leagues, professional wiffle ball leagues, and there's blitzball leagues. And if you looked up blitzball, it's a little yellow ball with I don't know the shape it's called, but there's little flat spots on it. So if you throw a curveball, it curves heavy, or if you throw
it's like a wiffle ball,
a slider, it slides even more.
It's a wiffle ball.
No, way better than a wiffle ball.
Okay.
But it moves heavy. If you throw a 2-seamer, it'll like legitimately move a foot or 2 feet, like way outside the plate. It comes into the zone. It's really fun.
Okay.
It's all about the pitching, though.
Going back to our talk with coach number 1, best athletes. Where do they come from? What makes the best athletes? I know Brando and I had our say, go swimming without breathing and be jacked and do cool shit.
Right.
What makes the best athlete? You go ahead and let us know.
Just someone that's personable, easy to talk to.
Okay. That's good for like the media.
What do you mean then?
Well, I want to know what makes the best athlete. What are the attributes?
What makes them?
Yeah. You said you listened to the whole conversation. Were you just joshing us here? Were you just making that up?
No, I listened. I'm trying to be funny.
it.
So the best athlete in the world
That's what it is.
would be, so some people would say an MMA fighter might be entering that realm of the best athlete, but I don't think any of them. I've watched some of them try to play basketball, and it's crazy that you can be so coordinated to knock somebody out, but you can't catch a ball. I think that coordination factor is huge. So yeah, a basketball player is a pretty fine-tuned athlete. Aussie rules, football guys, volleyball players, for the taller people in the world, those guys are pretty impressive to watch. Decathletes, though, that's always going to be my answer.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, they do like 10 sports in one. Eh?
Yeah. So who was it? Mike Smith, and then who was our Canadian that just did really well?
He was a gold medalist. He crushed it. Everyone was talking about him.
Dang. Was his name Mike Smith? Or was
I don't
that the
think it's
American?
Mike Smith.
It doesn't sound like a made up name. You guys are looking at me like I might know. I don't know.
Hey, you surprised us.
But anyway, a decathlete.
Dude,
That's
what
my
was
final
the guy's
answer.
name? We had the Humboldt girl too. I didn't even know her. Oh, this is embarrassing. My mom will text. She'll let us know.
Is it Mike Smith?
I don't think so.
Well, this Mike Smith guy must be good at
There
something.
was a Michael Smith. You may be right as he's researching. Hey, is that a Barry's
Yeah,
hat?
I am.
You wearing a Barry's
Yes,
hat?
thank you.
God, that looks beautiful. How come you're not pimping it more?
I got it. So I was watching the show, and I watched Network Ryan, and he was at the Saturday night game.
Yes, he
I
was.
went to extras.
Yep.
I went to the Sunday afternoon game for a wind up with the Jacoby's spring hockey team.
Nice.
We went to Barry's game, so we had 20. Some of us were there filling the third base side. I got a neck burn somehow, but it was like overcast and then rainy and dim, like it's been in this area. And then the sun came out for a bit, and it was actually a beautiful day for ball. It was nice, and the Berries couldn't get anything going until the fourth inning. There was a guy took a walk, and then Nolan Sparks, bunted safely on, so they had runners on first and second. And then the pitcher for Moose Jaw balked. So then they went to second and third. And then he walked another guy. Then he balked again. And then they got a run. Then they hit. Dude, it was crazy. And then they got a single, scored 2. Then there was some other way they got another run. So they tied it up in the 9th inning. They went to extras. They ended up going into the 11th. And then they won with a walk-off single because they put a guy on second base in extra innings.
And you said that.
Anyway, so I bought this lid.
Was that from Karen's Field?
Stroker's jersey. What's that?
Was that from Karen's Field? Like you bought it in the park?
Yeah, I went in. I made a deal with myself that when I get to my first Berries game, I was going to buy something like a hat. And I went to go buy one of their on-field hats because that's who I am. I'm an on-field hat guy.
Yes.
They didn't have any. They had these things, which are like mesh. You see this?
Yeah, looks good.
Little berry.
I like that.
That's styling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is my at the park look.
I love the purple.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to your back catching days, bro. It's like the way your hair slicks back. Like, do you know
what did you call it?
Your back catching days. Just the way, like when you used to sweat so much, your hair would go back like that. Here's something for you, Brando.
Okay.
Here's something for you, Gary.
Oh, here we go.
Gary,
yeah.
Fine, do your something, and then you're gonna hear the first rant on your show from me.
Oh boy.
And it's about you, and you're in trouble.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Coach Mazur is the only guy I've ever met in our SMBL league that, as he's receiving a catch, or as he's having a catch with the pitcher, and he gets the ball, He, without getting up or doing anything, could snap throw to first, just like this. So he'd take it like this and just snap throw it.
Oh, dang.
Boom. And he'd pick guys off all the time. It's incredible. One of the best catchers I've ever met in my life. All right, lace into me,
There we
asshole.
go.
And now he's about to crap on you,
Yeah,
man.
he does that.
This is real friendship
No.
that we're on.
Not crap.
Good.
Just crap. Not crap. I've learned because my wife would be very upset if I crapped on you, Gary. I am going
that's
to
one person.
educate
Okay.
the best that I can. So what position did you call it that I played once in a while in
Back
men's league?
catcher.
Which is not a position.
Catcher.
There you go. You know this. I know you know this. And this is going to bore a lot of people, but apparently it's a few states and Saskatchewan somehow developed the name back catcher, right?
Yeah, like bunny hug.
It's like bunny hug. It's a Saskatchewan thing, but there's no front pitcher. There's no front catcher. There's nothing for the catcher to be in back of. But here's the funny story. So somehow it developed, and it's a big term in softball, where a lot of the softball community is strong in Saskatchewan, and they use the term back catcher. Everyone says back catch. So the hardcore baseball coaches and dads out there, they cringe, and you always see them kick dirt when everyone says, "Can I play back catch?" So I say, you can play to the kids that I coach. When they ask to be a back catcher, I offer them a different B word, and that's the bench. So if like you ask me to be the back catcher, I offer you the other B word, which is you just sit on the bench until you learn the proper word, which is just catcher. We have pitchers, catchers, third base, shortstop, second base, first base, left field, right field, center field. So the backstop, if you go way back in time, Gary, right? The backstop behind the catcher, behind the ump, right? Where I think original umpires used to be behind first base when there's only one, but then they added one. He was behind the base and he called the balls and strikes. The backstop didn't exist. So they would just get a local boy in the neighborhood that would be the back catcher. So when the ball would go past the actual catcher and go into a field, the little back catcher would run and get the ball.
Okay.
And then somewhere down the line, we started calling the catcher a back catcher.
What I'm
Was
picking
this
up,
educational?
What I'm picking up from you is that number one, any player that plays for Coach Mays, do not use the term back catcher. Number two, the best response you could probably give while keeping it light would be something along the lines of, "You better take back that statement and try again, catcher."
I'll try that.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Coach Mazer. Thank you for joining us. Hey, the reverse double zoom's pretty fun, right?
I dig it. Yeah, this is way less scary than the double zoom that we were talking about last time, which I still haven't Googled and
Don't
plan
Google.
to.
Definitely don't Google. Anything else you want to say there, Coach, before I let you go for the night?
No, I am off to Okotoks tomorrow.
Woo! And then you're gonna check in Friday from
Friday night. What's that?
Ooh, so are we not recording a Dude podcast this Friday?
Well, we would have to somehow do that.
Maybe I go
from
to
a
Okotoks.
distance.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's that song, From a Distance?
From a distance, yeah. That's all I know. It's a love song. It's pretty good.
So we could do that from a distance, or we don't do it. And I think we did 2 hours, so we might be fine with that.
We did load up. I got to get to the tape. All right. Have a lovely day. Enjoy McCovey Cove out there. Go get us a nice hot dog. Say hi to Barry Bonds. And we will check in with you on Friday, my friend. Thank you so much. Coach 2, a.k.a. Coach Mazer in the house. Man, I feel like we're growing so much each and every day here, hey?
Yeah, that guy was
just like crazy.
He was in New York?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. That's even better.
Yeah, and we did a reverse double Zoom. And we had the double Zoom last Wednesday with Coach 1 and Coach 2, which is really cool. We now have an Australian correspondent on your show. We have a world-renowned podcaster, Uncle Brando, who hangs out. We have his co-hosting buddy from the CCO podcast, the greatest podcast in the history of anything, Network Ryan, who shows up on Mondays and Fridays. We got Tuesdays with Uncle Mike and with Matt from all the bands. We got a lot. We got Hardcora. How much do we love Hardcora?
Yeah!
Hardcora!
The absolute most.
So pumped for her. She'll be here. She comes on Fridays, which we always appreciate.
We
she brings
do.
her specialties.
That's why it's my favorite day.
Yeah, man. Like we got a lot going on here. And this is before we even get to all the shows that were debuting.
Yeah, and everybody out there could be a part of it. If you head on over to dam.com.
Wait for it.
Show it.
Wait for it.
There
Yeah,
it is.
that was probably the best one ever.
DufferinAvenue.com,
Serve
baby.
it
You
up.
want to create, you want to advertise. We're here. We love you. We would love to
Yes.
have you on board. It's a good time. And I think I haven't actually done the pitch before. I'm just doing this
You're
off the top
crushing
of
it.
my head. But the point
You're
is
doing
just be a
great.
part of this because it's awesome. And we're going to save the world someday.
Yes.
And you want to be a part of the team that does that.
I'm just looking for, well, there's one more thing that we have to give a shout out to, and that is our buddy Aaron with Coliseum Presents, who is putting on
Oh, yeah.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day tonight.
Oh, that's going to be so
Tonight at the Roxy. So that is going to be a whole bunch of fun. A little known fact for you, Uncle Brando.
Okay.
Terminator 2 was the first movie I ever cried in, or at, I guess.
Ooh,
Can you believe that?
Was it when they lowered him into the steel?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
I was so embarrassed that I had to go downstairs and cry by myself in the bathroom.
Nah, dude, I'm right there with you.
It was horrible.
That was one of the most, next to Optimus Prime dying in the Transformers
Yeah.
cartoon
Oh.
movie. Like, that was...
Dude.
And when you look
Come
at it
on.
from like a storytelling, like he had become the father figure of John Connor, and like nobody saw that part until the
Legit.
DVD releases came out later, right? But they had all that scenes where like they had formed this real bond with this like orphan essentially, whose mom was, let's face it, kind of a kook, right? And he finally finds this person that's taking care of him and like protects him and treats him good and all this stuff. And then not only does he die at the end, the kid has to lower him into the liquid steel.
How do you just let him die?
Oh.
I know mankind depends on it, but guess what? It made no difference at all.
Yeah, well-
Not one lick of difference.
I like to pretend that none of the Terminator sequels happened after 2.
Yeah,
It goes 1 and then
At
2.
least he died for a reason.
Yeah, and the rest of them were just
I agree. Garbage movies.
because money,
Yeah.
right?
Garbage movies.
Yes, they were all trash.
Yeah, I remember the chain lowering and then just nothing left but that thumb, and then
Oh,
he gives him
yeah.
the thumbs up. It's just water leaking like waterfalls. I run downstairs, look at myself in the mirror. It's like, this is what crying is, hey? And the best part is I cried all the time over everything. I was the most biggest crybaby. 2 older brothers just beat the shit out of me, so I cried nonstop. But that was the first time I cried from a movie. It's like, this doesn't feel right. How can you just let him go down in that lava?
Well, they shouldn't have. I feel like that was a poor decision. But I get it from a storytelling
Yeah.
standpoint. You know,
This
you
is how
gotta.
you end Skynet. Yeah,
That's how you put the period on the strange time travel loop that you had opened up in the first movie, right?
Yeah,
Because time travel movies never make sense.
never.
If you think too much about them, they fall apart.
They hurt your brain.
But at least they tried in that one. They at least tried to put an ending on it that was like, okay, the loop is closed. Skynet
Yes.
doesn't exist. Humanity will go forward and be fine. We'll be the Jetsons instead of whatever the hell happened in Terminator 2. I can't think of a cartoon reference for that one. That was a bleak time period. It was the darkest timeline.
The darkest timeline.
I was really afraid, like with that scene where the tank comes in and rolls over all the skulls.
Yeah.
That scared the crap out of me. Cause I'm like, well, what if this happens? I don't want to do that, right?
Why do you think I talk every single episode about Skynet? Stop giving AI everything it needs to destroy us. Literally destroy us as a humanity. Stop it with the AI crap. I've had enough.
Do you think it could? Like
It already is.
Right now today, could AI take us, do you
Yeah,
think?
of course.
You think?
Dude, they're already listening to every single thing that you do on your phone. They know every single thing about you. They know that your weakness is packing peanuts. They could literally get a bunch of packing peanuts, throw them in your mouth while you're sleeping. You'll go nom, 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 and then guess what? You're dead. That'll be Skynet, and you won't even know it.
Wow. Okay, but who are they? Like, who's going to do it?
The internet.
Oh, man.
That's it.
Like,
It's
are we-
horrifying.
Like the internet and the internet service providers as well? Like, is the
No.
whole-
The
they
service
all-
providers are great. We love what they do. It's us as humanity that is just so nonchalantly willing to just give every single bit of our information. No one ever reads, do you agree to click this box? You don't read any of that stuff. No one ever does. That's how Human Centipede, remember that one South Park episode?
Yeah.
Very funny stuff.
Yes.
Every time you do that, you just give them more information. Now they own everything you say or do, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Did you ever see that comedy bit where there was a company that put the entire text of Mein Kampf in that agreement just to see if anybody ever read it?
I did
and
not.
nobody did.
No.
It's like,
And the worst part is, I do read them. I read them and I say, I do not agree with this. I don't want this. And they say, well, too bad. You're not getting our service. And I say, good. I don't want your service. And then I get jabronis here like, sorry, you have to do it. Like, no, I don't.
I don't wanna.
Click. There you go, Skynet. There's another one.
Yeah, well,
as I'm still looking for John Connor to save the day.
Well, he'll show up eventually, right? When did the bombs fall in the movies? Was it? We were already past there, right? Like, we've won.
I think so.
Technically, like, we've already made it.
I think you're right.
Bare minimum, we ran the clock out, and that's what counts.
Well said. Check out tonight at the Roxy, Terminator 2.
Yes.
Going on. It's going to be fantastic. Now, Brando, before we leave today.
Okay.
And Dragon, we can get some Frankie's Fingers going here. I just want to showcase our brand new friend that we brought on board. Let's head on over to the Maggie cam one more time. Let's get a look at this bad boy. There it is.
Okay. Now, what's the plant's name, Gary?
Hold on. Before we decide a name on it, let's get from there. Thank you.
We're going to name him?
Dragon's crushing it. We're naming him today.
Oh.
Or at least we're going to try to.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So the backstory of this beautiful plant right here, it was given to me about 10, 11 years ago, and it sat in my house in 4th Street on top of my piano for over 9 months without being watered. And then it sat in the garage, it sat a whole bunch of other places, went out to Blackstrap with me, and it's been everywhere, and it thrived. It's growing. It grew through the old planter, so that's a new planter there.
All right.
This thing has seen a lot of stuff, man.
So it's got to have a tough name.
It's got to be a tough name.
Like a macho name like Dwight.
Or man. Macho man.
Randy.
Poffo.
Ah, Poffo. That's what...
Leapin' Larry Poffo, is that his name? His brother? Macho Man's brother?
Lanny,
Leapin' Lanny, yeah.
Did you know that he could, no, never mind. Family show.
Family show.
Family show. There's rumors about what that guy was flexible enough to do. He was a gymnast.
That's great. Lanny.
Lanny?
Is it Lanny?
You think? I mean, anybody who's watching this, I mean, if you have a plant suggestion, like, he's tough, he's durable, he's good for your teeth, probably, if you were to eat him.
Yeah.
He's green, so I won't, but we could. Put it in the comments. Maybe we can find a cool name for this guy. We get him a name tag. That'd be fun.
Did you say to throw him a name tag? Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll put a name tag on.
Yeah.
Let's know what to name the plant. It's a beautiful plant.
It'd be a good time.
All right, let's head back to camera 2, Dragon, as we say goodbye for the day. Thank you to Adrian Malarzon. AJ coming to us all the way from Australia, living in Melbourne.
What was his last name?
Malarzon.
Malarzon. I thought you said Malarzon. And I was like, wait, I don't
That's why it's called Coach 1.
Coach 1. Coach 1 it is.
All the love to Coach 2 for showing up. Love when Coach 2 stops by all the way from McCovey Cove out in San Francisco. Oracle Stadium, I believe it's called. To the Dragon. Great job on the fly today, man. Be proud. You crushed it like you always do. We love and appreciate you so much. Uncle Brando.
Me.
Thank you for joining. You are an incredible host, brother, and you're an incredible human. I tell you it all the time. Man, do I ever appreciate it.
I really appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. You can check him out in the CCO podcast, the best in the business at what he does. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Until then, have a great rest of your hump day.